Hey guys, I just made this video right here.
Hector!
I fight for my city, not for glory. I take no joy in this. Now you know who you're fighting.
And it only took me around 10 minutes to create. And in today's video I want to show you how you can come up with video ideas like this yourself, how you can get creative with AI, and essentially how you could use this to start your own successful YouTube channel or social media page. Nowadays it's a lot easier to start because AI gives you so many more possibilities when it comes to creating completely new types of content. When you are first starting, let's say a YouTube Shorts channel, the first thing you obviously need is a good niche. Basically, what kind of videos are you actually going to post? One way to find a good niche is simply through research. You can go onto YouTube, open the Shorts feed and just scroll until you find videos or formats that you could potentially recreate in your own way. That's a really good method for finding niches and getting content inspiration. But another thing you can do is look at topics that are currently trending and then build a completely new style of content around them. For example, the Odyssey and ancient Greek mythology are getting a lot of attention right now because of the movie. So we can take this hype and profit of it by, for example, creating something around Troy, Achilles, Hector, and that entire world. For today's video, I want to create a short animated scene in this tiny 3D figure style, something that looks like a miniature animated movie, but that we can create very quickly with AI. And I will show you exactly how to make something like this, because it's honestly a lot easier than you probably think. The first thing you want to do is open Higgsfield AI. In my opinion, it's one of the best AI platforms out there right now for both image and video generation. And they recently released Seedance 2.5, which is a new video model that lets you generate really high quality videos with much better consistency, longer scenes, and a lot more control. Now, while most people are using this model to create realistic looking content, I want to show you something completely different today. So how to actually make it. Technically, you could just paste in a prompt and generate the entire thing from text, but I personally like using reference images because it gives you much more control over how the characters and the overall world should look. I already created some references beforehand, so I'm just going to add them here. For example, I have this small 3D figure of Achilles, then I have the Trojan horse, the city gates, and a few other elements that I want Seedance to use inside the final video. And creating these reference images is actually very easy. If I quickly go over to the image section, I can select Nano Banana Pro and then simply describe what I want the character or object to look like. So if I want an Achilles inspired warrior figure, I tell the model what kind of character I want, what the armor should look like, what the visual style I want, and basically everything else that matters. And if you struggle with prompts, you can also use something like Claude or ChatGPT to help you write them. The important thing is just to make characters and the overall visual style unique, so your videos actually have their own recognizable look instead of looking like everything else that's already out there. Once you have your reference images, you can add them directly into Seedance 2.5. Then obviously we need our actual video prompt. For this, I also like using AI to help me structure the prompt, but you can start with something really simple as well. For this example, I already have a more detailed prompt where I basically tell the model what should happen at different points throughout the video. So instead of only saying create a battle at Troy, I can tell it what happens at the beginning, when the characters appear, when the fighting starts, how the camera should move, and what should happen toward the end. That gives the model a much clearer idea of the sequence we actually want. Now I'm going to select the 9:16 aspect ratio because we are making this specifically for YouTube Shorts and other short form platforms. And let's make this 30 seconds long. Something else that's really cool right now is that you can get up to 33 days of unlimited Seedance on Higgsfield. So what you can do then is switch over to unlimited mode, and as you can see, this generation doesn't use any individual credits. That means you can test different prompts, regenerate scenes, and try multiple versions without constantly worrying about individual generation costs. If you want to check that out yourself, I will leave the link to Higgsfield in the description. But now let's actually look at the result we got. Okay, that's actually really impressive. The first thing I immediately noticed is how well it used our reference image for the small Achilles figure. The character keeps the same overall design and visual style throughout the different shots, which is really important if you want the video to feel like a consistent animated world. Especially this fighting scene is pretty cool. There's a lot of movement happening at the same time, but the animation still feels controlled and easy to follow. The camera movement is also really good. It doesn't just feel like one static AI shot. We actually get different perspectives and different movements throughout the sequence, which makes it feel much more like a tiny animated movie. Something like this would have taken hours to create manually before, and now you can basically do it with just 2 or 3 clicks inside Higgsfield. Also, the sound effects are surprisingly good as well. The battle sounds and the movement match what is happening on screen, so the final result feels a lot more complete without needing to manually add every single sound afterward. And that's probably the biggest advantage of creating videos like this. You could basically take this finished clip and upload it directly, and you wouldn't necessarily need to do a lot of additional editing. You could build an entire short form channel around this idea. For example, every time there's a trending movie, historical topic, game or story, you could create your own little animated trailer or mini movie around that topic in the same visual style. And because the style itself is so unique, you're not just copying another shorts niche. You're creating your own format and building your own brand. So if you want to try Seedance 2.5 yourself, I will leave the Higgsfield link in the description. And if you're struggling to grow your own YouTube channel, you can also check out my private community, where you get direct access to me and everything I use to build and grow my channels.